In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how we can use inner joins and custom SQL statements in a Dreamweaver record set to pull data together from two different tables in our database. So, for instance, this is our customer detail page that we created. And when building the record set for our order detail section, I had included the ship name as one of the fields, thinking that that field would tell me what company was used to do the shipment, or who the shipper actually was. But as we can see from this display, the ship name is really the same as the company name. It's who we shipped the order to. But we want to display the shipper, the company that we actually used to make the shipment. So we have to go and take a look at how we can change that. So if we go and look at our database definition, we want to go in and look at the orders table. Let's go over here. And here's all of our fields for the orders table that we were drawing from. And we can see here's the ship name column we did, and that's the same as the customer name. But there is another column here called ship via. Well, we can see that that column is a number, not the name of the company that we shipped it with. But we can see here in PHP MyAdmin that the number is blue instead of black like the other text, which means that is a link to another table. And if I click on this 3, then that takes me to the shippers table and shows me that there is a row in this table with shipper ID 3, and then the company name of the shipper is Federal Shipping. So it's this Federal Shipping that we want to appear in that order detail list that we're printing or displaying on that other web page. So what we have to do is we have to use this ship via field and the value here 3 to create an inner join over to the shippers table, to this column, shipper ID, with this value so that we can get access to this company name. So let's go see how we can set that up in the record set. Okay, so here we are in Dreamweaver on our customer detail page. And if we scroll down, here's our order section that we were writing. When we wanted to show the details for orders, we wanted to show the order ID, the order date, the freight, and the ship name, only we discovered that this ship name field is not the name of the shipping company, it's the name of the customer, which we really don't need to display again because the name of the customer is displayed up here at the top of the page. So we want to change our record set so that we can get access to the name of the shipping company. So let's look at our orders record set. And we can see when we first created this, we used the simple view of the record set, which just gives us access to one table at a time, since we're picking a table from a drop-down, and it gives us access only to the columns in that one table. Well, in order to do the inner join and get that shipper name from the shippers table, we need to switch to the advanced view. So now over here in the advanced view, we see that we still have our name of our record set, the connection that we're using, but now we have direct access to write whatever SQL statement we want to write. So we're going to use that to create our custom SQL statement. Now, if you remember from the SQL tutorials, putting a star where the column names go is going to get you every column from every table that's involved in your select statement. Well, we don't need every column. We just need the 4 that we wanted, which was the order number. Let's go down here and look at our fields. We wanted the order ID, the order date, we did the freight, and then from what we looked at before, we know that this ship via field is a ID field that will give us a link to the shipper table. So those are the ones we want. So we're going to go up here and we're going to say, okay, we want the order ID field. We want the order date field. We want the freight field. And we're not going to display the shipper number, the ship via. We're going to use that in the link. So instead, let's look at the shippers table, and we see that in the shipper table, the company name of the shipper is a field called company name. And let's see if that conflicts with the field in the orders table. And it does not. So we can just use company name here, and SQL will know that it must be coming from that other table. So now the next part, the from, tells us what tables we're going to be drawing our data from. So we are going to get data from the orders table, and now we need to tell it we also need data from the shippers table. Now, our where statement, we do want where customer ID equals our column name that we're getting our variable from. But now we need to add a condition that's going to do our join between the two tables. So we're going to say and in the orders table, the field was called ship via, but then in the shippers table, the field is called shipper ID. Now, this is why when we talked about creating key fields, we usually try to use the same name for the key fields in two different tables. That way we can match them up and spot them easy in SQL statements. So this condition and orders.shipVia equal to shippers.shipperID says that we only want to match the rows from the orders table and the shippers table where those values are the same. And then we're still going to sort it by order date in ascending order. So with all that in place, we can do a test. Oh, and because we're being driven by a variable that doesn't show anything, let's give it a default value of ALFAA was one of our customers we were looking at. Now let's see if the test will work. Yep, there the test works. And we can see that for the two orders for this customer, one of them was shipped by Speedy Express, the other one was shipped by DHL. Now, notice that the column title in our SQL output says company name. Well, that's not very descriptive because this is the shipping company. So remember aliases, we can go back here and take this company name field and we can give it an alias. We can say company name as, and then give it the alias shipping company. And then let's test again. And we can see now this column header is a little more descriptive. So we say OK. We say OK on our record set. We come back to our detail here, and we want to get rid of this orders.shipName dynamic text, since that's not going to exist anymore. And we want to go in this column. Let's rename this column to be shipper name. And then let's do plus dynamic text. We're coming off the orders record set, and we're going to pick shipping company as the thing we want to report. Okay, now notice what happened. When we picked that, what appears in this column is different than what appears in these other places. We get this little PHP tag because it has indeed put some PHP code in that spot in the column, but we don't get this tag highlighted in blue with the curly brackets on each side like we did for these other fields. Okay, I think if we save this and then we go back to our page and refresh it, we see that this works correctly. We get the shipper name, we get Speedy Express, we get DHL, but on the development side, this looks different. And for some people that can be a bother. You like everything to look the same. The reason this looks different is because we had a space in the column name when we created that alias. So if we want to keep everything looking the same, the way to do that, you can see over here our dynamic text thing didn't get ordered, didn't get added to the list. So we're going to delete this highlighted stuff. We're going to go to the orders record set. I'm going to take the space out of the alias we created and save that. I'm going to scroll down to our field where we need to add something. Go to plus, dynamic text. You can go to my record set, see now shipping company has no space in it. If I pick that, okay. Now because there's no space in the name, it appears here in our server behaviors list. It appears in our document the same way all of our other fields appear. And if I save the file and go back to the page and refresh, we see that everything here still works the same way. So that's our example of how to do a custom SQL statement in a record set in order to join data from two different tables. Let's look at that one more time. So here's our custom SQL statement. We had 4 individual fields that we picked. One of the fields has an alias with it. We're drawing from 2 different tables. And our where statement has our condition for picking one particular customer, and it has the condition needed to do an inner join between the 2 tables.